Flying solo one more day. Terry should return tomorrow as we will tackle Saratoga, the dynamic duo, Batman and Robin. Not quite sure which one's Batman, which one's Robin will return. Looking forward to having Terry back tomorrow. Still fighting the cough, folks, so forgive me if I have to mute myself now and then. Yesterday, we fought the favorites yesterday, I guess, at Parks. 13 races. I think in the winner came from the top 3 picks, I think, in every single race yesterday. A lot of them in the first or second, but unfortunately, just favorite city. We did catch that 9 horse. I think went off at 13-1. That was a good one. And then the long shot ended up being the even money horse, but it wasn't even the favorite in that race. So 6-1, bet down to 1-1. I mean, if you identify 6-1 morning line and it ends up at 1-1, there's really not a lot I can do about that. Hopefully today at Colonial Downs, we'll find some more prices. The weather there looks like it's nice. The track is fast. The turf is firm. There's not a whole lot of scratches today at the 10 race card at Colonial Downs. So hopefully the weather will stay that way. Make for some great racing, and hopefully we can catch some nice prices there at the Virginia track today. So we'll get started with that. Oh, before we get started, I almost forgot. Last night, Sean and I, together with Vernon Bush, had a lot of fun with Vernon. Give him a little bit of the business about his concert choices. He said he went to go see Cheap Trick, and his sister went to go see Rod Stewart. I think it's probably the other way around. Just kidding, Vernon. But he said he had a good time at the Cheap Trick concert. Talked a little bit about getting his life together, being sober for a year and a half, and how that's played a major role in the fact that he loves horse racing and can't wait to get up in the morning. Vernon said he was up at 4:10 this morning, getting out to the track to get to work. So congratulations, Vernon. Keep it up, man. We're all rooting for you. If you haven't had a chance to catch that show, make sure you go over to Horse Racing Radar TV. Check out all of our shows, but last night with Vernon Jordan, that was a fantastic show. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Sean and I talked a little bit about the ongoings at Saratoga. Apparently, it was a super spreader event. Fortunately, I had no contact with either Joel Rosario or Mr. Gomez, so I certainly didn't get either one of those young men sick. So speaking of tonight, we will have on in our show tonight, Javier Castellano. Sean and I will be live with Javier at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So if you have any questions for Javier, make sure you tune in and then see what he has to say. Should be another great show. The best way to make sure you don't miss it is while you're here on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook until we get canceled again at Horse Race, the number 2 day, Horse Race Today. And if you like what you see here on YouTube, please thumbs up. Same goes for Facebook. Retweet us on Twitter. I don't know what you got to do on Instagram to get us in good standing with their algorithms. All right, let's try to get in good standing today at Colonial Downs, race number 1. Race number 1 is 1 mile. It's a maiden claiming $25,000 race. And so far on the dirt, they've run 1 mile 3 times. In those 3 races, 2 were won by speed. 1 went wire to wire. All the wins came in posts 4 through 7. And if we take a look at what our pace worksheet looks like today at Colonial Downs, this is what we'll see for race number 1. You'll see here that we have a couple left arrow horses in here. I like that to get started. The 1 horse and the 4 horse, meaning these are horses that usually are far off the pace, tend to close. I know they're maidens and they haven't won any yet, so it's kind of a little bit of art as much as it's science. And their early pace numbers, without them trying too hard, should push them towards the front. You'll see here the 2 horse, which is ordinarily a pressure horse, does have some of the best late pace numbers, along with the 4 in these lines, or down arrow here in this case, indicate which way these horses are moving in class in terms of these maiden races, because I feel like the drops in the maidens and the maiden claimings, they're probably some of the biggest and most important drops in all of horse racing. So I'm going to get started in race number 1 right away with my best bet. That is the 2 horse in race number 1. That's Momstown. How can you ever bet against Mom anyway? You always got to bet on Mom. This one catches laces for the 2nd time. Better fractions last time out, and if there's any improvement, will be improving off the top last race speed figure. So just needs to run the same race. If Lasix gives any juice, the 2 horse Momstown can make easy work of this field, I feel. Number 6, Swag is on. This one is dropping in from Presque Isle Downs, maiden special weight. Getting first-time Lasix, which is a 34% winning angle for trainer Larry Ravelli. Number 7 is my third choice in the opening leg. Bali Balafai, dropping a little bit in class, but back to the maiden claiming debut level where the horse ran to get its career started. Was a little bit better in race number 2 than race number 1, so hoping to improve on the third start. And then number 1, Lucidity. This is, as I mentioned, a left arrow horse. It's going to go long for the first time, which I think could speed her up in the opening part of the race, considering she's got some early pace, and now she's going to go long. A lot of times, sprinter speed does translate to routes, but route speed doesn't necessarily translate to sprints. Race number 2 is 1 mile on the inner turf. Take a quick look at the profile of a winner of a 1 mile inner turf race. So far, they've run 34 of them at the Virginia track. 18 of them were won by horses that were in the first 3 at the first call. 6 of the 34, so not a whole lot, went wire to wire. There is an inside 3 penalty here. 4 through 7, you get a little bit of a bonus. And then again, if you wear an 8 or out, you get penalized once again. So race number 2 is, again, let's take a look at our pace worksheet here. We'll see that the 3 and the 5 are both squared off. That means that the 3 and the 5 should get paces that are in what I am terming their comfort zone. So these are comfort zone horses, right? A little bit of popcorn on the couch with your favorite blanket, maybe those types of horses. You'll see that the late pace horse belongs to the 1, and it gets a plus mark here, meaning its pace figures are at least 5 points better than the next closest late pace horse, which means the horse should be able to make up about a length in the final 16th or so. So if it's within a length, the 1 horse should have a pretty good shot to win. I'm going to start off race number 2 with number 7, Mofire. When you look at the past performances last time out, you'll see in its pace numbers from the beginning to the middle of the end were better than they were in the previous start. Always like that. Also like the fact that it was a first start at Colonial Downs, and it also included better fractions. So better pace, better fractions, maybe a horse for the course. Number 6, Palm Reader, which is sometimes what I feel like when I'm trying to do horse racing. This one's dropping in class, has some of the most back class as well. Hasn't run since October. Workouts are okay, and the horse has done all right coming off the bench, but the back class is such that you have to include this one here. Number 8, Reina del Verano. This one should be better in the third start after a layoff. Has fared okay at Colonial Downs, out 6 times with a couple of wins and a third. Tried its luck everywhere else, 9 other tracks. Other tracks 9 times, and only has a third to show for it. Finally, number 1, Start with a Bang. Did tie for the top last race speed figure. Drops in class, and as I mentioned, the horse does have a plus late pace edge. Race number 3. Oh, I forgot to put these in here. This is going to kill me today. What's up, Jared? I know you want baseball today. Colonial Downs, how you feeling, man? Good, long time no see here. I got a baseball pick coming up for you in a minute that you're going to want to pay attention. I know Jared earlier in the day said he's into some baseball today, so what the hell? Let's get right to it, Jared. What do you say? The picks with the professor. Yesterday, the professor, he gave us the Marlins at minus 137. Of course, the Marlins did come through for the picks with the professor. Today, Professor Sides has a Cleveland Guardians play at plus 132. So there you go, Jared. Professor Sides likes the underdog today with the Cleveland Guardians. Says they've been really good to us lately. A lot of his picks are pretty good lately as well. It's going to turn to them tonight as his biggest edge in any game tonight. The model thinks is a coin toss situation. I could see the Padres being small favorites. Getting these solid plus lines on the Guardians is a gift that we shouldn't pass up. Anything can happen tonight with 2 average pitchers. Don't be fooled by Savali's ERA. It's his underlining. Metrics indicate he's actually been better than Clevinger this year. So give me the team with the fantastic bullpen whose offense isn't extremely far behind their opponent's bats and at these odds. So there you go, Jared. To get the play of the day, you can get it every single day. There is a link right here in the description on YouTube. Also, the link to the full show for every single baseball play for the professor today. Make sure you bookmark both while you're over there on YouTube. Please enter the comment section. Be rowdy, be loud. Let them know that Horse Racing Today sent you. Certainly, we'd appreciate that. Jared said he's going to bet the Dodgers versus the Brewers under 7 runs. Put it in as a lock. We'll lock your bet, but we won't lock the result, Terry. I don't want to jinx you, my friend. Cleveland money line. Yeah, he likes the Cleveland money line. If you look too, he's up almost 18 units, 15% ROI. He's 58-36, so 22 games over 500. That's a hell of a good number for anybody who's betting professional sports. I think anybody who bets professional sports would agree with me on that. All right, so let's go ahead and fast forward today to back into our bets today over at the Virginia track, Colonial Downs, race number 3, 1 mile, optional claiming, $25,000, non-winners of one lifetime. We look at 1 mile on the in race number 3. Let's take a look at the profile of a winner. Here we have 1 mile, again, 3 races, 2 of which were won by speed. 1 went wire to wire. All the wins come in posts 4 through 7. Race number 3, once again, we find our our pace worksheet looks a little bit like this. We see that the 5 horse here is, again, a left arrow horse, which means the horse is usually an early presser type. So it can be right on the lead, can sit right behind the leaders, has the top early pace, so probably moves to the front today. And you can see we got a plus mark here at the 4 furlong marker, meaning the 5 horse has at least a 5-point early pace advantage at the 4 furlong marker, which could put it a length, maybe a length and a head in front of everybody else as they're coming out of the turn, heading for home in race number 3. I'm going to start off with the 4 horse as my top selection, though. That is World of Wonder. Horse on a fast track, out 6 times, collected the winner's check in 3 of them with a second and a third. Won 2 races in a row, and they weren't close at all, and did show some better effort in the second half of the last start. Texian going for the first time for trainer Claude McGay. He wins at 22% on that angle, and this is a horse that probably gets a little bit better in its third start off a layoff. Number 5, Hashtag Lucky. As I mentioned, this one is a left arrow horse. Should have the pace advantage at the half-mile marker. Did run the top last race speed figure last time out and does have a few maintenance workouts in between races. And finally, number 2, Freshisha di Argentino. I probably screwed that really up, but ships in from Gulfstream Park. The horse that carries a little bit less weight than most others in here today. Has some decent works at Colonial Downs getting ready for this spot. Race number 4 is a maiden race again. A lot of first-time starters in here. It's a mile and a 16th on the inner turf. So far at a mile and a 16th on the inner turf, they haven't really collected a bunch of races yet. There's been 32 races, 19 of which were won from off the pace. So you got to have a little bit of late juice in your legs. Only 4 went wire to wire. There's a little bit of a rail bonus here. 2 through 7 play fair. 8 and out garner a small penalty. Because there are a lot of first-time starters in here, we did not do the pace setup in that spot because, quite frankly, there's a lot of horses that haven't put any pace together yet. Sounds good. He says he's going to go with that. Trust me, it's the professor, man. Guy's really good. Just keep track of what he does. Bookmark that, and I think you'll make some money there, Jared, as well. Triple Tito's race number 9, so 6-1 morning line. Been waiting him to run. Cha-ching. Excuse me. There's the COVID remnants kicking back up again. Hey, Tony, how are you today? Looking for that triple Tito's today in race number 9. So hopefully mark that down in your books today for horses to keep an eye on. Troy's been waiting for this one for a bit, so hopefully it comes through. I don't have triple Tito's, so maybe I'm going to regret that. Maybe I'll make it an edit on the fly, so to speak. All right, so race number 4 for me. I'm going to start off with number 2, Determined Crush. We all had one of those as a kid, I suppose, right? Maybe even as adults. Should be better in the second start. Does have a bullet workout after the last race. Luck in the Dusk was well bet in its debut. Another that I expect will show some improvement in its second career start. Number 3, Every Time. Trainer Kerry Brown wins 25% when debuting on the turf. Jockey Victor Carrasco winning at 21%. This one is the Eddie C angle. I talk about bullets and go before horses make their maiden run, their debut race. Eddie C likes when they have a bullet, then a maintenance workout. Along with that, Eddie C bullet had a bunch before that, 4 bullets in its last 5 out workouts for Every Time. Number 7, G. Laurie, almost a bullet and go. Was the second fastest last time out at 4 furlongs. out of 13. Trainer Graham Motion and jockey Jorge Ruiz, they win at 27% together, in the money at 73%, and still collecting a positive ROI of 17 cents, which is a pretty good number for folks that win at that sort of rate together. Race number 5 is a 5.5 furlong race on the outer turf. Again, here we have a bunch of first-time starters, maiden claiming $25,000. So we don't have our pace worksheet for this spot. 5.5 furlongs so far, 42 races on that outer turf surface, 23 of which were won by one of the quickest to the quarter pole. 6 went wire to wire. There is an absolute outside to inside bias in race number 5. 1 through 3 carries a little bit of a penalty. So we're going to start with number 8, Kamikaze Fox. This one is a maiden special weight dropper, does have some back speed, and gets first-time Lasix. So I like that combination of speed and Lasix for the first time. A lot of horses that show speed, then fade, get that dose of Lasix, the fade goes away. They're able to carry that speed farther. Then you tack on a maiden special weight, one of the biggest drops in all the horse racing. Should play out well for Kamikaze Fox. Number 3, Dragon Run, did run the best last race speed figure. Carries a little bit less weight than the rest of the field today and was considerably better. You can notice that in the past performances in career start number 2. Number 4, Moonsign, trainer Brittany Russell hits at 30%. Win debuting at the maiden claiming ranks. This one only has okay works getting better. I'm getting ready, but can't overlook a 30% win rate for any trainer. Finally, number 9, Bali Rolling Tide. This one does have the bullet and go, meaning the last workout before this upcoming race is a bullet. It's an alpha angle, according to Barry Meadows. I define an alpha angle, anything that wins at 15% or more. The workout before the bullet was a pretty substantially good workout as well. Race number 5 cleans up the early pick 4 of the day. Race number 4. How you doing, Charles? He likes the 5 horse in race number 4. I don't have that. I mean, it's pretty much wide open stuff, I feel like, today. A lot of these races today, especially in these maiden races, anything can happen. Hopefully we can catch some prices there. That's why I decided to make the opening pick 4 my prime rib pick 4 on the day. I'm going to go 4 by 3 by 4 by 4. Missing a couple horses in there, missing Charles E.F. Hutton's horse. Because when E.F. Hutton talks, you better damn well listen. So you might want to make sure you got Charles' horse in your pick 4. Unfortunately, I'm limited to my own self-regulated budget. Charles, once again, he's looking at the in race number 4, he's looking at the 5 horse. Race number 6 is the next one I'm going to cover. Race 6 is 1 1/8 miles on the outer turf. It's a claiming $16,000. Non-winners of 2 lifetime. And the profile of a winner at that distance so far, 1 1/8 on the outer turf. This is the one that they haven't run a whole lot of. There's only been 4 of them. Surprisingly, 3 were won by horses that were in the first 3 at the first call. 1 of those 4 went wire to wire. So far, you have 1 win from post 4 through 7. Every other win came in from 8 and out. So once again, it looks like we have an outside to inside bias in that. And then we also have our pace worksheet for race number 6 here. We encounter our first scratch of the day. That's number 6. So you can see here, they got a lot of. This is an interesting pace setup to me because here you have a lot of closers. You have a field full of closers, as a matter of fact, and you don't have a whole lot of early pace up in here. The 11 horse getting the box around it, meaning it's the one that's probably going to be on the lead according to the early pace figures. The 3 and the 8 should also pressure the 11. The 4 horse didn't have any of those early pace numbers. So if the 4 gets out to the front, I'd expect you probably see the 4 fade. And then you see the 5 horse and the 2 horse catching the late pace numbers a little bit better than anything else any of the other closers has to offer in terms of late giddy up and go. I'm going to start race number 6 with number 5, Freddie Satin. Sounds good to me. This one's been out 4 times, and it's coming off the maiden claiming wins. Not usually my favorite angle, but never missed the board in 4 races. They're all on turf. A win a second and a couple of thirds. Has some of the best pedigree in the group, so the pedigree fits but it's also getting first-time LASIK. So, yeah, you balance all those things out. Maybe I can make an exception for the maiden claiming riser. If not, then number 8, Nomadic Fighter. This one's dropping in class, coming off of the top last race. Speed figure did show a little bit of improved effort at the end of its last start. Number 3, Noble Cross. The resume says after a third race where the horse showed some regression, I went back to look. It's only had one other 4-race cycle. The first 4-race cycle showed regression in the third race and bounced back for a better spot in the fourth start. So let's see if Noble Cross can repeat that pattern here today. And finally, number 11, Chaotic Tempo. This one's likely to be the pace setter, and the past performances say this one could noticeably improve in its third start off of a layoff. Race number 7. Race 7 is a mile on the inner turf. This one's, again, maiden claiming $40,000. If we look at the profile of a winner for a horse at 1 mile on the inner turf, 34 races, 18 of which won by speed, 6 went wire to wire. There is an inside 3 penalty, so of course I'm going to have the one horse as my top pick. 4 through 7 get a bonus, 8 and out get a penalty. The one horse in here is a long shot for me to start the back half of the second pick 4. Let's take a look real quick at what the pace setup looks like for race number 7. Again, we get a scratch here, and this scratch is kind of significant because the 2 horse and the 7 horse both boxed off, meaning that they should have early pace. That puts them E-horse, horses that like to be towards the front. That means a 7 now takes over potentially as some lone speed up in here. Can get to the lead, maybe not give it up. We'll find out. 5 horse dropping in class, 6 horse dropping in class, and catching a late place plus, meaning it has more late pace than just about any other horse by at least 5 points, meaning it can make up at least a length in the final 16th to 8th of a mile. You also have the 3 horse dropping in class, the 4 horse dropping in class. So you got a lot of class droppers. Most of the horses want to be back. Maybe it gives a little bit of an edge to the 7 now that the 2 horses scratched out of here. Let's take a look at how I wrap it up. I'm going to go with the 1 horse as my long shot, as I mentioned, in race number 7. Ballyhoo Prince. Been knocking on that Colonial Downs door, knocking on Bob Dylan's door, or as Denzel Washington says, waiting to get that first haircut. Out of Colonial 4 times, a couple of seconds, and a third. Maybe this horse makes the step forward in the third start off a layoff. Number 7, just missed in its last. I think this one should be now the pace setter without the 2 in the race. Consistent, really consistent performer when you look at the speed numbers. Number 4, Blame BB is the third choice for me. This one's making the maiden special weight to maiden claiming drop. Did run a Z pattern last out, meaning the early pace numbers were and the late pace numbers were up here. A little bit of a dip in the middle of the race. Those patterns tend to work out pretty well. Showed a lot more effort in the later part of last race. Number 8, The Last Sip, or SCIP, I'm not sure. Did run the top last race speed figure. Been close in the last 2 races. In fact, either competing for or on the lead in the stretch, just kind of giving it up a little bit at the end. Cutting back the 1/8 of a mile today from a mile and an 1/8 to a mile maybe makes a little bit of difference, although 2 races back had the lead in the stretch at a mile. Race number 8 is 1 1/16 miles on the inner turf and a mile and a 16th on the inner turf for a claiming of $10,000. Profile of a 1 1/16 inner turf runner. 32 races, 19 of them won from horses off the pace, 4 of which went wire to wire. A little bit of a rail bonus in this case. 2 through 7 fair, 8 and out. You get a little bit of a small penalty. Our pace workshop looks a little bit like this for race number 8. Here again, we find a scratch, and this scratch could have some significance as the 8 horse is a horse that did have some late pace to it. The 10 horse was a left arrow horse, not in the race now. So 4 horse now becomes the only left arrow horse in the field, meaning this horse usually likes to sit off the pace, but can also be on the lead and win. The early pace numbers put it in front of the 3 and the 5. The 3 and the 5 usually need the lead to win. If they don't get the lead, probably tend to fade. So maybe you can play away from them. Tough to say. You never know how it all plays out once the gates open. But that's the way they've won in the past. That's the way the pace numbers set it up for today. In race number 8, I'm going to start with the one horse as my top choice, Takafumi. This one's dropping a couple of classes after running the top last race speed figure. Trainer Michael Maker, when he drops multiple classes, hits at a 22% rate. Number 4, City Plan, is the only left arrow horse that's left in the race after the 10 scratched out. Did run faster fractions in its last spot and gets a little bit of a weight break today. I love that combination of speed, a faster race last time out, and getting a little bit less weight to carry today. Usually a pretty good combo. Number 6, Acker, as I mentioned, has the top late pace numbers in the field. It actually turns into a plus late pace advantage with the 8 scratched. So I think you'll see maybe not win Acker. I think it's 20-1 morning line, so a little bit of a price in here. But hopefully he can come in and clean up the gimmicks in the back half. Maybe give us a nice exacta trifecta. Number 3, Miracle Silver. This one's also dropping in class. Real solid effort last time out. If you look at the pace numbers, they were identical at the 2 furlong marker, the 4 furlong marker, and the late pace number. That's usually a sign to me of a horse that's in good shape, in good form, and ready to go. Race number 9 is the box it up for me today. Race 9 is 5.5 furlongs on the outer turf course. Again, if we take a quick look at the 5.5 furlongs, what it's taken to win so far, you'll see that they've run 42 races, 23 of which were won by horses that were in the first 3 at the first call. 6 went wire to wire. There is an outside in bias, a little bit of a penalty for posts 1, 2, and 3, of course. So I got to start with the 1 and the 2. I love trying to break the biases at the tracks. Why? I don't know. Charles, race number 6, long shot play of the day, the 2 horse in the money today at race number 6 for Charles. Again, Charles, when Charles speaks, man, you better listen. He's usually pretty on. Are you heading out to the track today, Charles? I know you're in that area, so weather looks good, so maybe you'll see Charles at the track today. Box it up for race number 9. This is where we take 4 horses, put them together in a $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box, hoping to cash all of them. We'll see if we can get that done today with number 1, Lantano. This horse has run at the distance 8 times, winning 4 times, coming home with the runner-up prize 3 more times. Won its last race, and I expect you'll see some improvement in the second start after a layoff. Does have the top late pace numbers for this crew. Number 2, Strike Me Down. Just missed in its last race. The resume says second start off the bench is usually a lot better than the first start, so hoping the horse maintains that cycle today. Number 7, Hammer Time. A little bit of MC Hammer. I never had those parachute pants. I wonder how many of you did with the Hammer Time. But anytime, Hammer Time certainly needed to be a little better at the horses from what I understand. So maybe you might want to come on our show. I could teach you something, MC. This guy ran faster fractions at 7 furlongs last time out versus 5.5 furlongs in the previous start. Really like to see that. Faster fractions going longer. Gets a weight break and gets first-time Lasix with speed. I mean, a lot going on here with Hammer Lane. Number 8, the Connector, dropping multiple classes for second start with trainer Mark Hoffman. Mark Hoffman wins at 25% when he drops a horse down and claim 25 with the second start, off the claim. And then this horse, he's bringing him to Colonial Downs where the horse is 1 for 1. So that is my box it up for the day. That only leaves 1 race on the day. That's race number 10. Race 10 is let me pull up race 10 over here, is a mile on the inner turf. Another one of these maiden claiming $10,000 races where just about anything can happen. You're probably going to want to race 9. The 6 horse is a solid bet. Yes, and again, in race number 9, oh, he's in tomorrow. Okay, good, Tony. Troy, I'm sorry. The little dyslexia going on there. So make sure you come back to remind us tomorrow, Troy, that your horse today, Triple Tito's, will be running tomorrow. All right. Well, that's good because I was a little worried that my box it up was going to get broken up by your 9 horse. We don't want that. So race number 10, again, maiden claiming $10,000 race. Again, here we have our take a look at our pace worksheet. Got something we like in here, the 10 horse, right? Class dropper, pressure closer horse, meaning it can be close to the front, can be at the back and close. Got 2 horse scratched here. A lot of these horses over here in the NA column, meaning for me, the NC means never close. Did catch a left arrow horse here with the 6 horse. Last time I caught a left arrow horse in the never close column was at the last race for me at Saratoga before I caught the COVID over there on that Sunday. 4 horse ended off going off at 37-1. I had it finishing first or third in my trifecta, in my exacta. Didn't have it finishing second. Cost me like $900. Made me actually, I still not feeling all that good, Jared. A lot of residuals. I don't know. This COVID stuff is just for the birds, man. Somebody's got to be accountable for what they did to the human race with all this COVID crap. Unfortunately, nobody has paid a price except for the poor people who've gotten the damn thing. In any case, for me, closing out race number 10 with number 8, Hard Rights. Been at the distance 4 times. This is your Denzel Washington horse in the barbershop, waiting to get its first haircut today. At the distance 4 times, 3 seconds, and a third. Much, much better in the first half of its last race. As again, when we had on Craig Mikowski from Timeform US, he said, pay attention to the 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers. When they go up, usually a sign of a horse that's getting in form. Horse did run the top last race speed figure and drops in class today. Go Run, the 4 horse, usually takes a lot of the bettor's money, doesn't win, but should be one that is very competitive. Hit the gate its last start, so you can kind of toss that one out, see if it can return to form, where it's usually close to the winner's circle at the end. Number 1, Big Red Cardinal. As a graduate from Pocono Mountain High School in Swiftwater, Pennsylvania, the Cardinal was our logo, was big and red, is the 1 horse. A lot of things going on there, so I got to go with the alumni there, baby. Small class dropper, improved a little bit in career start. Race number 2. Trainer Derek Ryan and jockey Sammy Camacho getting together for this spot today. They've won 3 of 10 together. I think they've finished in the money like 70% of the time too, and collected an 18-cent positive ROI. And finally, final pick of the day, number 5, AC's Analyzer. This one is making the maiden special weight drop from Churchill Downs, where in his debut some time ago, ran for $120,000, getting first-time Lasix. Okay workouts. And hopefully that horse and that maiden special weight to maiden claiming drop. That's a big enough drop with the Lasix for the horse to come home and maybe clean up a nice exacta trifecta somewhere along those lines. What's up, Muhammad? How are you today, huh? So 6 horse stumbled at the last start. You might have missed that, Rich. Rich Steve owns the horse. This is a prep race. For which horse is that in, Charles? And Muhammad, how are you today? Good to see you, my friend. Not quite sure what you're saying down there. Hope you cash them today. Have not been doing ponies lately, handicapping. I'm shifting to baseball and football. Football's coming up pretty soon. We're going to do a Friday night NFL show, Jared. Jared said he wants to be on that. Terry still, this thing is Terry got round 2 of the COVID as well, unfortunately. So he's supposed to be back tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing Terry as we cover Saratoga tomorrow. Here's the full card picks once again for Colonial Downs. Lest I forget, this is my hot dog pick 4 for the day. Hopefully it goes 1-1-1-1 all the way down from race 7 through race 10. That would be an interesting pick 4 for me. I just felt like the opening 4 legs for the opening pick 4 were a little bit more wide open, except that last leg, race 10. I probably wish I can go 7 or 8 deep right there. That would be nice. Again, my hot dog, my prime rib pick 4 in race number 2 looks like this. 4x3x4x4. Box it up in race number 9. Looking like this. Hopefully you can catch a nice exacta trifecta superfecta combo with those 4 horses. Our full picks look like this today. Everyone got COVID at Saratoga. Yeah, it was a super spreader event for sure, man. I didn't get the mild version either. I'm still having some lingering effects from it. So I hope it's not the long COVID. I hope it's just, taking a little bit of while for me to get through it. All right. So that wraps up Colonial Downs for today. If you're going to bet over at Finger Lakes today, you're going to want to head on over to to Guaranteed Tip Sheet. It is the free track of the day today. There's a link here in the description in YouTube as well on Facebook. Please use that so that they know you came from us. You'll see that Finger Lakes today on a sloppy track today. Race number 1, the 4 horse Missing Fortune is the opening first bet of the day. So you can catch all the Finger Lake picks today at guaranteedtipsheet.com. Make sure you head on over there. Taking over on Yakers, Mets, 8 under Brewers and Dice. So what? You're going to take the Yankees and the Mets. Oh, taking the over in the Yankees and the Mets today, over 8 runs, and under 7 in the Brewers and the Dodgers. Again, the professor, he's going to go ahead and take the Cleveland Guardians today. Make sure you check that out. Let them know in the room, in the comments, that you came from horse racing today. Tomorrow, Terry returns. We will cover Saratoga. We'll be back on Thursday to cover Del Mar. Tonight, again, Javier Castellano is our guest with the Horse Center. Sean and I will be live at 8:30 Eastern. The best way to catch it is subscribe right here on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up if you like what you saw. Tell your friends about us. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thursday night's guest, as we cover the Travers, will be the line maker for Saratoga and the NYRA tracks, David Aragona. So looking forward to having him on a second time. I think that wraps everything up for today. I don't think I forgot anything on this normally Terry Tuesday, but it's going to be a Colonial Downs day. I hope we catch a lot of winners there. No matter what you're doing, Jared, Mohammed, Charles, Troy, everybody else who's watching, please make sure you have a fantastic Tuesday, and that no matter what you do on this day, that you use the most of the seconds that you got and end up in the winner circle. See you tomorrow.